So, on the scene here in Park West, we are, before my plumber troll friends get on me, I'm helping a friend out. So, yeah. Anyways, got Brent here with me helping a friend out. Getting ready to replace a flange. But yeah, so this was pretty cool. So, well, not really. But my phone may die in the middle of this. If it does, apologies. But so you got a cracked flange right there. And it was evident as soon as we started to turn the bolts, and bam, it started to just spin around. So we ended up, cutting the bolts out, right? All right, so we got somebody put some shims and stuff, like little pieces of plastic, shims under the flange to try to hold it up. And they did caulk it all the way around, which is cool too, but they had shims in the back here. But so just something to look out for. If you got a toilet that's rocking, what's really going on is that the edge of the throne is supposed to sit on the ground, and the part where your dookie comes out sits recessed up underneath that. If this flange is sitting up too high underneath your toilet, it's going to rock because it's sitting on this. So it's just going to kind of pivot left, right. Okay? So that means your flange is up too high. So if you tighten, what normally happens is somebody goes, okay, well, my flange is rocking or my toilet's rocking. Let me tighten up these bolts. So they go to tighten in on these things, and they just crank and crank and crank and crank until finally the ears break off. And that really would not stop the rocking. And then when they realize that that doesn't stop the rocking, they start taking pieces of flooring and shoving it underneath there to fill the gap. I mean, they took the time to trim this one out and everything, make it look all pretty, to try to fill the gap up because the toilet didn't work right. What it's much better to do, if you hand me that, what's much better to do is just do it right the first time. And when you find that someone boo-booed, cut this crap out, cut it down the seam there, glue in a new flange at the correct height, and then put yourself in a good old Johnny Ringo. So yeah, so if you got a rocking toilet, don't just crank down the bolts thinking that's going to stop it. You can, you could shim it if you wanted to, but really you're not fixing the problem. The problem is that the flange is sitting too high. My plumber troll friends may correct me, and if they do, get a life. All right, but around 1/4 inch over the floor, 1/4 inch lower than the floor, one of the two, somewhere in between, just fine. But other than that, you're too high or you're too shallow. So some adjustment needs to be made to the flange. So we're going to cut this one out, drop a new flange in here, scrape all this junk off out here. We're going to throw away the junky floor because they're not going to need that anymore. And then we're going to throw a new power flush on top of here. So my battery's dying. So y'all take care. Rocking toilets, don't just crank down on the bolts. Do it right. Put a new flange in. Put the new flange in. Right, say bye. They can't hear you. You gotta. They don't have ears that would hear the level that you're speaking at. So, okay. He's been doing drywall all day. He's done a fabulous job too. So, way to go. Yeah, you're supposed to be sorting screws right now. Sort screws. Go sort screws. Get out of here. Go sort the screws. All right, guys. Y'all be good.